Clearly for me the most difficult thing was my life prior to Parkinson's involved a lot of sports, a lot of outdoor activities. All of my relationships run deeper than that. Certainly going backpacking and skiing, playing tennis and doing things in the outdoors, riding bikes with friends was a big part of my life. And recognizing that my physical abilities were beginning to wane a little bit and I was concerned about being able to keep up with people and whether that aspect of my life could still remain intact was the biggest concern. I felt some self-consciousness going out with friends and feeling like I was lagging behind and holding them up, and had a tendency to consider not participating in the same activities that I had always done. But I thought it was really important to, even though I didn't know about social engagement and the importance of that for limiting the development of symptoms, I felt that it was important to stay engaged and continue to do those things with friends, which I did do. But I think that adjustment and that coming to terms with the fact that I was going to be following rather than leading most outdoor activities was probably the biggest adjustment that I had to face. I guess the other thing, and I'm not sure if this comes up in later questions, but I didn't have a lot of motor symptoms. I still don't have a lot, but I experienced and have experienced facial masking as a big part of what I am dealing with, and I think the self-consciousness that comes with that and the tendency to feel anxious in some social situations because of how I thought I looked to other people, or my speech deteriorated some and I tended to mumble or speak in a soft voice. I think that adjustment was the other part that has been with me throughout the duration. I tend to bring it up with probably too many people, and what surprised me is often people would look at me and say, I don't even notice anything going on with you. And of course, when you experience these symptoms and your face feels tight, you tend to over-exaggerate what's really going on and what it looks like to someone else. I did participate in the LSVT Loud training in 2014, and that was somewhat helpful. But I think the biggest thing was, I'm trying to think, in talking to people about it, I tried to slow down my speech. I tend to speak kind of rapidly, and that caused me to mumble a little bit more. I joined a choir, and now I'm part of a Parkinson's choir, which is called the Tremble Class, which is a wonderful outlet to work on your voice and breathing and articulation, and that's been real helpful as well. But I think it comes and goes. I started on carbidopa-levodopa about 1.5 years ago, which was 6.5 years after I was diagnosed, and it wasn't supposed to impact facial masking, but in fact it reduced my facial masking most of the time in ways that I had not expected. The other thing I'd just like to mention when you talk about how I dealt with it, I had an opportunity at that time to listen to a podcast that Phinney did on the website, where she talked to someone from Tufts University about how professionals dealt with and perceived relationships with people with facial masking, and she was able to bring out some real important points and articulate the kinds of concerns that people had and her dad had that I experienced and never felt like I could explain to my friends as well as I would like to. And so I shared that video or that podcast with people, and it really went a long way to kind of break the ice and put into words things that I didn't feel I was doing very well for people to understand what it was like.